Okay, so I'm back here in the kind of the epilogue to the or part two of the 5 minute chart, candlestick chart, with about 40 candles. And just like I thought, we played out this scenario, and this forex hangout guy got filled on his sells up here, and he's about to take profits, and he's going to go outside and play because, if you're a discretionary trader, you're just trading. If you just, hey, I did a trade, I'm good, and able to walk away. Now, this is completely impossible for a gambler to walk away from, even if you just lost money, then the argument is I'm going to make it back. If you just made money, well then, Jesus Christ, I want to make more. But once the, in other words, this is also a heartbreaker of trading, is that when the market makes a gigundous move, it's kind of like quickly, you've just made money quickly, and this is the time to get out. Because, well, you've already gotten out if you've already laid out the track of your exits. If you've already composed that whole situation and given yourself a risk window instead of a risk number, you've got like a spectrum of risk running. And if you're just trading 1Ks, then I could put 100 1Ks on the chart in about a half an hour. Okay, so it's like painting a painting, and you're just doing this paint by number. And that's just all there is to it. Now, if you have your finger on the trigger, or you have a trigger, and I actually was going to get a Bluetooth trigger just for one hotkey. I used to lay in bed and trade, but the problem there was I fell asleep, and I couldn't see the keys, and I thought, well, I should braille these keys. I should put some type of icons on the keys I can feel, so I'm laying in bed and I can trade, and I can do quite well waking up and just going, oh yeah, get in here, go back to sleep. So that's the thing, is that it's kind of like living with somebody, because if you're sleeping in bed with somebody, well, it's kind of bizarre because when people get married and stuff, they become one person in a way. They have to, because they have the person next to them sleeping, and they're depending on them having their shit together when it comes to sleeping, being able to not be annoying. Or you just get a different room. So I don't understand that. Actually, I've just never survived well. Well, I guess, and then the problem is you wake up in the morning and one person wants to get all frisky and the other person needs to go to work, and then there's this big fight. Well, yeah, I'm like, but how do you think we afford the bed we're in? I have to go work. So if you have something you want, you're going to have to schedule it. And even in, and if you're by yourself, it's the same problem, because now you've got all these projects and you have to schedule that. So you can't get away from life, and then you got to sleep. And, if you're insomniac, I'd say just bust your ass during the day, you'll sleep good. So, there's a lot of cures for stuff. And the trading environment's hilarious. Like, I see the comments here, and granted, people are trying to be helpful and all that, and this is the idea of having all these traders get together. But the problem is, typically don't see this in another realm. Like, I guess the band I play in, we play and we just like start hacking it out, right? And we're gonna just jam this tune out, but nobody's saying, let's write a formal song and let's go up against the Beatles' White Album, or whatever that is, whatever that, in other words, the big boys. And this whole idea of the big boys and little boys is just bizarre, because really anybody that still has some time left on their life meter is winning the game of life, supposedly. At least from my parents' standpoint, if you lived a long life, most people's standpoint, this is how you win at life. So how do you win at trading? Well, you're making money, but it's like, are you making money? How long is it taking to make that money? Like, get the fucking goddamn and make some money already. In other words, if you get good at it, okay. If somebody was to watch over your shoulder and criticize you blow by blow of everything you're doing, If it was an expert judging you as opposed to a just somebody on the street, somebody on the street might be just dazzled by your charts and go, look, he's making money. This guy's got. Meanwhile, the guy's like, I don't know, like a coke heroin addict who's able to scalp and make money. I mean, is it any different than a guy that can play guitar solos and just be like, dude, yeah, he played fucking scales for 4 hours a day. He traded demo 4 hours a day, and he's on stage, and people are like, dude, you nailed that. Well, yeah, he didn't just fucking play that once in his life, right? This is a brush stroke that he's embedded in his, and that's it, you know. For me, trading is like brush strokes. You just say, dude, here, put a little color here, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So my approach is, let's see what happens. We don't know, and it's not against you that the market's random. It's in your favor. This means that even if you're wrong, you may be right for a little bit. This constant flux between I'm up on the trade, I'm down on the trade, and the hemming and hawing that goes on. Now, the entry and the exit are two different mindsets. Once you're in, okay, now you've got a problem in some regard. You've got exposure responsibility. If you don't get one trade on all day, and some people would say, well, you're a loser. You didn't make any money today. Some people would say, no, you did what you followed your system. Now, I really have a problem with systems and rules and stuff that's been laid out. And it seems to me as if it's this is the conventional wisdom theory, and this is how it should go. And if it deviates from this, then it's wrong. Okay, but at what level on the step process? If you look at trading from the standpoint of raw money, let's say you throw $1,000 in a trading account, and you're like, okay, let's see what happens. Now let me see. I don't have to risk I could risk $1,000 on one ticket, on one idea, on one Garley. So I have everything from the whole account at risk, using all that leverage. And I don't understand this argument that leverage is risk. It's only to the unmathematician. Or how much of a mathematician do you need to be if I tell you that for every standard lot you put in here with, and if you put a stop order in there, if there's no stop in there, your account is the stop, okay? So I don't understand. Leverage has nothing to do with risk. Why are these two things what happened there? The fuck? This is like saying your muscle is controlling your brain. I guess, yeah, if I smash your leg with a hammer, like, it's a two-way street, right? You're either going to direct your foot out of the way of the hammer, or you're going to get impaled and feel it and then get a message, a signal service from your foot to your brain. So it's just funny that I guess it does fuck people's heads up. The dollar amount on the trading platform, they can't get their head around the fact that they're controlling $100,000 of currency with like $100 or whatever the number, whatever leverage you want to go to. And this is the problem. Now, it means that what the EU is saying, what the government in Europe is saying to forex traders, retail forex traders, is you are this dumb that you don't get the fact that it's so sad. Nobody's explained to the forex trader that he's in a $10,000 position and he doesn't have $10,000 in his account. I've explained forex to a few people, and I start off with that. I said, do you realize that you can control, and it's very key to say control, because you are in that trade until they stop you out or blow up your account. So you're in that trade. And that is your risk, is the fucking money you put in your account. It just blows my fucking mind to pieces. Trading fucking 9 years straight. And people don't get it. Really? You didn't see, like, okay, if you're so retarded that, and the only good thing I can say about backtesting is you're going to come across the depegging the Swiss franc, which stands to date as being the most severe sell-off in your fucking life. And it was just, it's just like the Brits, when this guy with the pipe, I can't remember the British guy, 1939, and he lets go of the pound, and Chicago markets open gap down. Like, you should see the chart on that, and that's harsh. And he goes right on TV and he says on British TV, "Hey man, this is gonna, we're good, don't worry about it." I'm like, people are like, "Holy shit!" Now this is way before everybody's whining about George Soros and all these people that are supposedly controlling the world. But it's hilarious because you're in control. If you're gonna say, "I got $1,000," now I get the fact that people probably didn't even understand how binary options work, that there's a time decay. In other words, time's not on your side if you're in an option, unless you wrote it. And if you wrote it, you're so rich, you can afford so much exposure if you're writing calls and writing puts. It's one thing to buy a call but to be the guy that's taking the other side of that trade. So that's what I learned early on. That's risky. This is not risky. These forex brokers will blow your account. I've been down $230 on the opening in Sunday, and I just go to the chat window and I say, "Could you zero my account?" "Oh, sure." Yeah, because they're charging me a big spread. They're making commissions. In other words, it's as if I'm going down to the cell phone store and I'm buying cell phones and I'm scalping them for $100. I'm making $100 on them because I'm going to give you a back rub while you load your phone. Right? FDA would probably be all over that. Oh, you need back rubs, you're not a certified masseuse. Yeah, you can't touch anybody anymore. I mean, it's really fucking hilarious. Don't touch me. Oh, you looked at me. Oh, well, that's I mean, the sensitivity level is high because it shows that people are everybody's rich. So people can complain about the most nuanced things. That's how you know you're wealthy. You can complain. I guess about trivial shit. And then you're good to die, I figure, because at that point you've lived your life and you've done all of your good trades and bad trades, and the trades that you would say, "I'm forcing this trade. I want this market to go up, and if I keep buying, maybe it'll go up." And I know this is very retarded thinking, but there's a primal part of your brain that's still engaged, supposedly. And this is the part that kind of longs for something, and you're impatient, and this is where everything starts to coming up to the opening of the last day here. So coming into the bottom of the hour, 8:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, which is a big deal. And whether there's news or not, so I study the market at 8:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, and whether there's a news or not, it's quite a frisky time, and it's a decision point. A lot of reversals there. A lot of literally turn on a dime trades. So this was if anybody watched last night's video, I could not get past like 13 minutes of this guy's video. So I fast forward 2 hours and 30 minutes, kind of randomly sampling his thing here. And when this market moved up last night, this is right where I was on the other video, so I remember where I was. Because these are like looking at these markets on the 5-minute chart. This is quite a story here. There's quite a bit going on, and I say every 15 minutes there's a trade for me on this chart. Like, I would just be like, "Dude, let's get in here." Like, I mean, it would be so obvious, let's pull the trigger every 5 minutes on whatever size. And let's put in limits too. Let's just say we would make a decision on let's trade into somebody's entry. Like, in other words, I don't disagree that we want to sell high, which he did. This is how you make money, and you buy low. It's like, can we do something on the way there to just ride up into that and just do something? I mean, it literally can't almost bear trading in the sense of staring at the screen. So, that's why I guess God invented porn or whatever, or drawing or whatever you're doing to, because it's just a real paint dry, this guy says in the thing. He's going to move his stop the break even and watch the paint dry, which is totally what's going on. And it's terrible. I mean, I really have a problem with watching paint dry. So that's when I thought, well, you know what? Let's be doing something. And if not, I'm running the demos in the background. So I'm not trading my real account in those situations because I realize that those fills are so far away. Like all the real big pips is going to be get in here and hold it for fucking 4 hours, then dump out, then get on the reversal and trade both trade plans. So you're trading into somebody's, if you want to think of it as agreeing with people, you're trading into somebody's entry. So your target, it's a revolving door. Your target should be another guy's entry, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be, everybody should agree, actually, on this chart. I think the only problem is, in this other guy commented, he likes this symmetry where you see two parallelograms stacked, and it looks great geometrically, very, pitchfork stuff, which it does look good. I mean, I'm not going to say that the pitchfork is not a great visual. It's kind of like a girl in a really nice dress that's just the right length, So look at the proportions on that. Now, I have a Fibonacci tool on that. In fact, I should probably do that. I couldn't find a Fibonacci tool that will draw on my desktop, because I would just hunt down really hot women and just go, dude, 618. I mean, come on. That should hold true, right? And then, of course, you could just have like the ass trader or something where it's like, I can imagine this, right? The Ronco ass trader. See, here's one cheek, butt cheek. Here's the other one, the Fool on the Hill, right? When the moon's in the 7th house. I don't know. So, here's the reversal nipples right here. Right, so you just turn on a dime. That's the EA actually comes up with graphics. Now that's an EA that you could get your brain around, is like the porn EA trading, where instead of it being this Gartley or this what do they call them? Oh God, I can't remember what they were calling these moronic trading patterns. A cipher. Okay, so you have like a cipher, and it's like a threesome. Something down that road, right? I'm just thinking out loud, but I think that'd be a good way to get a different angle on your trading, just to freshen it up. I mean, because it is so utterly boring, and I guess that's why you have the oh yeah, and remember the jigsaw guy. So can you see jigsaw coming in here? I mean, your brain should be able to make up its own jigsaw. You're just going to fill in all this so this is all the selling pressure stacking up, and since you've never made a lower low, you've got this climax vacuum here. So here's there's your wedge. You see this drift, and just like we knew they would, this severe 1 hour vacuum here, because I'm taking all this and saying, look at this carried forward, and look at the response to that. Wow. And this is the no fill here on your sell limits. But if you stacked them up, see his order placement, if he's going to sell high, he needs to put a sell limit on each wick tip. Right? Just like down here, you're going to have to admit to the fact that this is, okay, this, you're going to go underwater, right? Then here, you're above water, and everybody that is in that same trade as you are in would have the same thought. Okay, we're drifting up. pull back. This is probably coming, I don't know what time of day this is, coming into, oh God, maybe this is Asia. No, this is the morning, right? Okay, London smash down and drift up. I think he's in the morning here. And then we come back to this top-bottom structure on the line chart, and then here's the launching pad. The final assault on this vacuum, which I call them rooftops because I see a structure, a building that goes all the way back to here, and we never got filled on these sell limits, but we were committed. Just like notice the once it satisfies this rooftop, it can't close this gap now. And don't forget, this is 10 minutes straight up hard. Now you would also be selling that in your market order approach. Sell. No questions asked. No brainer trading there. You cannot live off of that trade because at some point this is going to keep going up, just like this keeps going down, and you can't rely on that. Okay, it's okay, but you really want to have goober trades in here too, in the sense, and somebody asked me what goober meant, and I thought, well, I don't know. I guess it means just more simple than simple. So here's the beginning of the selling vacuum. As we march up, and also don't forget, money management robots and humans are putting sell stops in here to protect their winnings as they cut into here. So the trailing stops are in here. Here's the first time the money management bots are getting filled. Here's robots selling. Here's people selling. Here is the final climax window of that you're selling new highs. Now, it's completely counterintuitive. And, you know, he's trapping two tickets up here. Like I said, he never changes his size. And he did change his size once, but across the board. And he got clobbered because his sizing's not dynamic, but the market's dynamic, so he's being too rigid. It's not, like I say, he's going to go outside and he's like, dude, it's too hot in here. So yeah, I mean, none of us need to trade if we're still alive. We could make some guy asked me, how do you make $1 billion? I'm like, just fucking keep trading, dude. Hire a team of people to trade for you. This is the prop house idea. Because some people have skills that are unique, and you have to let them, you can't overdirect them. You just give them a frame of time. Do 5 trades a day for me. And they go, well, I say 20 pips stop, 5 trades a day. If I was going to do a course, you know, some guys said that they were giving him these exercises to do this. My course would be like this. Open a demo account, put on 5 trades a day with a 20 pip stop to make 40 pips, and you find that slot, and you can use any currency pair you want, even shit with a 10 pip spread, because if you got a 20 pip stop on a 10 pip spread, half of your cost is shipping. It's like when you order something you really need, and it costs $3 to ship, and the item costs $3, you're like, what the fuck? I should order a bunch of shit. No kidding. But the guy that does that trade, and if he's okay with that, then it doesn't matter, right? Because you're in your comforts, or you're in your performance mode window, and that's all that matters. You know, everybody knows the trades they're good at, and this guy might make $1 billion trading like this, and people would say, how dare you criticize this guy's trading? Well, I just don't think it's, you know, like I said, it doesn't exist in the music business. We don't typically see. There was a guy that was talking about somebody's guitar playing, and I thought, wow, he's really drilling down into this, and people are doing, maybe I'm just coming across it because they changed the algorithm in YouTube where it's able to, I'd say artificial intelligence, it's able to kind of say, oh, it looks like you like this kind of crazy shit. And lately YouTube's come back to just being amazing. You know, people complain about being taken offline and stuff. I'm like, dude, it's like you don't think the forex traders aren't fucking going, what the fuck's going on here? You go from 500-1 leverage down to 30-1. they're like, what? I mean, this, like, you have no control over the world. I mean, the weather's changing. People are upset about climate change. Dude, deal with it. This shit ain't never going to fucking. You're alive. I mean, you could be dead. So there's, I mean, come on. You know, shit's in a constant flux here. And that's the only cool, exciting thing about really trading is that, wow, you know, when it really heats up and you were right about that move or right about the volatility picking up. See, I pretty much guarantee that if you go for 5 weeks, so I was in a trade about 7 years ago on the Swiss franc, and I thought, I'm going to be one of these guys that just swing trades this thing for a week. Well, I was so pissed off because at the end of the week, I was just barely up and barely down, and I just thought, this is fucking bullshit. I locked up all this margin in this stupid fucking, well, just stick with your trade plan shit. I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm constantly redoing my trade plans, and I'm saying, well, you know what? I know what I can do here. I could say, you know, no, this is, let your profits, okay, this is the big fork in the road. Let your profits run. That's a completely retarded thing to think about if the number is too big for you to let it run. In other words, you're up $900, you're up $1,000, and you're just going, oh, yeah, this is, finally, I have a winning trade. Now, when you see that number, and this is why the leverage is a problem for people, they're like, how can I be up? Now, it's only because they have no math skills. And, you know, like I said, the word leverage, it's funny. I guess, at what point do you, when you lose $300 or $5,000, say, wait a minute, how did I do that? Can't you be responsible for, okay, what's next? I'm thinking food limits. Like, no more leveraging. Like, when you go to the store, they're still letting people buy, with welfare cards, buy, like, really bad food. And it blows my mind. I'm like, really? Like, dude. So I go to buy these nuts, and they're really good nuts, and they're in like a bad part of town, but these are really good nuts. You can't buy them at the local. This is like black market food. So I get these walnuts that are just killer. I mean, like, they're like the best walnuts. You can't buy them at the big boy store. But next to this is literally like chocolate covered marshmallows, and I'm like, okay, I got it. But dude, you got this woven into the rack with, like, yeah, I get it. There's cookies there too right next door, but this entertainment food, and granted, if you're suicidal, it's definitely a good thing to, if you have to eat comfort food because you're depressed, okay, well, it's either that or you call Upjohn or, you know, call the drug company for a hookup, like a squib or whatever the current FDA approved elixir and bromide is. So, you know, it's kind of funny how the world's constructed. But yeah, so now if this guy makes 10 grand, people say, if you criticize this guy, you're the biggest fucking asshole in the world. And let me see your real trading account. Well, I mean, it's ridiculous because which account, at what time, when, I could, you said, it's, you know, what have you spent? What have you taken out of the account? What have you, oh man, and all the work, you know, and all the planning. And look at the clock. It's just creeper gear for me, this shit. Dude, it's like waiting for 8:30 here. Come on already. So I got my trusty Evolve account running here. So yeah, I had to break down and go into the digital world deeper, which I'm not a big fan of digital. I'll take analog any day. I listened to a guy play back some fucking 15 IPS master tape from like the Beatles, and I was like, wow, it does sound, that is large and in charge. Stuff has been whittled down. I mean, this guy was trying to impress me with this $1,000 Samsung phone, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. They took the audio, you could tell, and they cranked up the compression, so they gave it a big fat and sizzly the high frequency is ridiculous, and I don't even know if it's reading the room and adjusting on the fly. Kind of scary, but you could hear it breathing, And I'm like, okay, I got it. That's cool, but just give me a big old fat JBL speaker or something. Take me back to the old days here. But yeah, watching this guy and just thinking about all these trades. So we got 5 minutes to the bottom of the hour here. I'm going to go to my Evolve Markets account. And let's see if I can get that on my screen. Okay, so I'm going to go to this chart. And these are my $5 drops. And these are good. These are great trade plans here because this is a linear dollar risk here. $5 drops. So this is a good starting place. Because these are linear dollar risk. The reward factor is not, the reward factor is not the greatest on some of these tickets, but you can see that this is the most precise way to trade, and these will never crash your platform. So also, this will be a buy stop if I place it above, and it'll be a buy limit if I place it below. So I'd say that if you're not really up for dropping a 20K that lasts 30 minutes across all these price support levels. So this is an indicator that I came across, and somebody wrote a EA to go with it. But like I said, the problem with that is you still are stuck with the problem of, here, I'm going to put some more limits in here. You're still stuck with the problem of how many tickets to load in here. But I could just hand place these. So this I could give somebody and say, you know what? And these are the buys. Now the sells would have to come up here. And I've only got, here's a 4-hour sell. 30 pips to make 30 pips. So I could place this on every one of these lines. And this is an indicator called Spectrum inside the platform. But it wouldn't matter because I could randomly throw lines up here. I mean, once you do this, you discover, I could just keep using that interval all the way to here. Now, the question is, would you put sell limits up here for, and that Hangout guy doesn't understand how to run MT4, I guess, in a deep enough manner to just say, dude, I'm going to go outside, and I don't want to babysit this fucking thing, so I'm going to put a sell limit here and here, and this is what it entails, okay? And then you just, hey, go to work, go to your day job. I mean, why sit around for this shit? Look at this beautiful sell last night in the dollar yen, and you got filled. How do you know you got filled? You don't know if you got stopped out. That's the only thing you don't know about this chart. Now, when people talk about back testing, I don't think they realize why it's flawed. Here, I'm almost going to open here. News potentially coming out, but I'm going to buy and I'm going to sell right now. And I think you can see, let me turn on the platform, see if there's any money in the account. Another thing with demos, if you let them go and you'll realize, dude, I could have made that much money. What the fuck's wrong with me? Okay, let me see what I got here. Okay, so I'm down $200. Down 300. How am I down so big? God, I guess I got filled on that a long time ago. Oh, that's from earlier. Oh, these are Bitcoins. I keep forgetting. Okay, so that's not a real number. Oh, let's just say it's $37 or something. That's a little shocking. Another problem with Bitcoin is I'm not a big fan of having to learn new shit. Okay, so we just opened up, the markets just opened. So we'll just assume that this is like we're in a huge, we'll just call it 200. Either way, I just wouldn't trade like that heavy. Because if I got this many tickets pending and I'm down 200 at this point, I'm like, yikes. Let's start deleting some shit here. So I'm just trading one instrument. And here, I'll go to the 5-minute chart. This is the chart that this guy was using. Now, the way I would trade that, and maybe I am, these are not, this is about to get stopped out here. I'm at 10 pips of getting stopped out of this trade. So how do you manage all these trades, you know? Here's a 50 pip stop. Now, this is an interesting trade. I'm risking, I didn't put any of the true cost in there, so I'm risking $5 to make $4. But if I place it here, it's a buy stop. If I place it here, it's a buy limit. And this gives you great flexibility. You don't have to trade at the market. You kind of are just bracketing with a buy stop and a sell and a buy limit. So it's a different kind of bracket than a classic bracket where you put a buy stop above, a sell stop below, whichever way the wind blows, and you're going to proceed with your system in a static, non-directional, objective view of volatility breakout with unidirectional. You would put a buy stop above, a sell stop below, and you could build a system off of that entry style. Or are you going to say, well, no, I'm going to have a directional system. I'm going to buy one at the market, one on a stop, one on a limit. And kind of have the party pack. You know, this is the greatest hits. I have small, medium, large. So either what I'm going to do is get a medium grit sandpaper, and I'm going to, so you have a choice, right? If you're going to sand a table down, do I take medium grit, hit it, and then just keep hitting it with medium grits, and then use those until they get dull and turn into like, when they get all clogged up and now they lose their, now they're almost like fine. Or do you have coarse, medium, fine? If you have coarse, medium, fine, now you're going to come out with the coarse, swap out, come in with the medium, come back with the fine. How much did it cost you? You'll find that your fine paper is going to turn into ultra fine. Your medium is going to turn into fine. And your coarse is going to turn into medium as soon as you use it, as soon as you hit it. Same thing with your account. As soon as you do your first trade, you've taken a chunk out of your allotment for that. So for you to complete the project of those price pulses and all that shit that's happening. So, and of course, very easy to trade one direction because you, it's the fluctuation of the direction. In other words, which price pulse did you trade? The big giant one or the, now this is just like the euro dollar when it goes smashing down here. So this goes smashing down, right? This is the big sell-off that you would buy at the market. And you only made money on this final phase here, I think, where there's candles on top of that. That's disturbing looking. But we have one, just trying to count, huge down. And when it's down big, you would be buying big. And so here you actually bought really big ones. And if you waited until we clipped the price vacuum up here, once we breach this and the sellers come in just like they always do, this is just a constant over and over. In fact, we're long here on limits, but we're not getting filled. We have a buy stop above. But here's where, as time marches on, I'm going to start putting these guys in here. And at some point, I have to say, oh, that's it. You can't put any more cookies in that oven. You're going to blow it up. Every oven has a limit. And even if you think that you would build your account and go, well, I'll just trade more and more. Okay, but the problem is how you manage all these ovens. These things, if that oven runs hot and that one runs cold, then you know, this is the thing, right? If you realize that one oven's never going to run hot because it's breaking and it's fragile, you run that at a certain level. So if that account is wounded from some dumbass trade you did, now you're just going to say, well, we put that account on a light. This is the only way I can see it. Because you have to, like, if you are an impatient person, you better be scalping on a demo to kill that urge to do that with your real money. if you find that you're nervous about the real money trade. So it's like you have to be realistic in terms of what is it costing you per trigger pull. And like I said, if you're going to trade a 1K and you just want to execute right now, yeah, do it with a 1K, because why not just put another 1K, a half a pip deep, if your broker will let you trade that close to the market. And most brokers now will. I mean, trading's never been better. I guess that's why they don't want people to trade, because it's never been better. It's just funny. It's funny. But that's the Brexit. That's EU for you. That's the end of, well, that's the end of the bold, it's like girls aren't, if you go back to the 50s, they'd call a girl a broad, which I thought was interesting. And I thought, abroad, that's where I guess maybe, I don't know where that comes from. But it's funny how the labeling changes, and then there's this, and there's that, and it is a dangerously over-informationalized world. For me, I think I'm seriously overwhelmed. Oh, I just picked up another ticket. So I'm making money here. I can't even get my brain around this equity balance on this Bitcoin. When I first traded Bitcoin, in fact, I haven't looked at the Bitcoin market. Oh man, my back. I haven't looked at the Bitcoin market. Now, so here we made it through the 5-minute window. So it's classic style. The market raids down into the, this little vacuum here, and this is right around 8:30. So we have that complete price reversal. I got to get a better template going here. This is a rugged looking template. Gosh. Let me go back to the line chart. There. Yeah, I like the line chart. So line chart shows me price over time. And you can see here the dip down. Triple bottoms on the line chart. Very easy to see. So what I have here is just a volatility cloud, I suppose. That's like a 2-period moving average cloud. Like I said, if you're cloud trading, okay, I got it, but you got to tighten your cloud up. Like for me, this is so obvious. I'm sure it is for everybody else. Let's hope, right? We've heard this a million times. The tops become a bottom. I mean, this is like, God, this is so worn out, but I know, but it's psychologically what's happening for people in these markets is that if you sold this and you did not get out here and it comes back and you get this head and shoulders. Yeah, I just watched a Jason Greystone video where he says, these head and shoulder thing, man, you can't just trade them, I'm like, yeah, you can. You can just trade them. I know it's a heartbreaker, but you can make this supposition that at this point here, that this pullback after 5 minutes is like, it could be a shoulder. It's also a loss of downward momentum. So everybody is in the same world. We're all living in this. Oh, you know what? The guys that are making money here are going, well, I don't know. It's kind of drying up. Looks like she's, she's just not putting out like she used to. I remember when we first met, she was putting out every day. And this would be your Alexander Elder. My Alexander Elder trade is to get in as it just comes into any moving average. I'm first in, but I would be in other words, everybody's getting in here. The guys that sell new highs are getting in here. The guys that are selling a pullback into, everybody's getting there. And here's the failure to make new lows, but finally it takes down that one more notch. I mean, this should be just fucking obvious that you need to buy new lows, and these are newer than these. Fucking duh. So this stuff is so fucking retarded. Now, I get the fact that if you sold here and you did not get out here, when it comes to here, you're like, fuck me sideways. Like, damn it. And did you sell here and go, okay, I'm just going to get in it. Now I'm going to take them all off here. Like, think of how hard it is to, I sold here, didn't get out here. I'm like, damn it. You should be selling here now, but you're not. You're like, damn it. And then it comes down here, you're like, oh yeah, finally moved my way, but you don't get out again. Then you don't get out. And then if you didn't get out here, then you're like, oh boy. Now we're all the way back to here. And it's just a classic. So here, I've cashed out of anything I bought in this vacuum. So this is a dramatic vacuum because it actually encompasses about, I'd say, 2 hours. This is a 2-hour slot, just like this one. And look at the lack of volatility before this little blip and almost gets to here. And I could say, okay, I got this indicator, man. You just sell here, and I sell this $100 for this indicator. Tells you just where to put your sell limits. It's making so much money. Yeah, until you fucking oversize these tickets and put too wide a stop in there. All right, until you do something like that. And here we're cutting through. Now the sellers, watch them react right here. This is the black line is the true price. Sellers are going to come in there. They'll pull it back to here. I'll put a buy limit here. Or do I get out what I'm in now? So let me just get out of something. And then this is to me trading. I'm going to take off the biggest winner because I just like that feeling. Oh shit. I'll accept the terms, yeah. One-click trading, yikes. So dangerous. Another thing, I got to warn you now. Dude, these poor forex brokers are trying to they're like, dude, you're driving a car that you don't own. Okay, like, hello. I mean, it's a rent-a-car, dude. You cannot fucking expect oh yeah, I just made a, yeah, see. Now I took that off, but guess what? I'm going to get right back in. I'm going to actually put a 10 pip stop to make 40 pips here. I don't think I'll make, but I know risking $5. Risking $5. Well, not on this thing. I don't know what the fuck this Bitcoin's doing to me. But here you go. I think that's all day. All day. All day long. I just dumped out. I'm going to get back in. So this is trading. In other words, this is active. This is high frequency trading. This is medium frequency trading. I'd say this is like, what is high frequency trading? To me, it's pulling the trigger or being in and out, in and out, in and out. It's not about like, well, I'm going to, as my broker would say, spam them with tickets. I'm not going to crush them with tickets. So I'm not going to create try to get my system so fast that, well, I'm ahead of this guy because I can see the level 2 guys, and look, I'm in, and they can chase it at a higher speed. You could chase it at a higher speed. I get that. If you're high frequency trader, notice if I push the button now, I'm getting there before some goober finally, wakes up, gets his coffee, and like he's gonna get, but he could still also, the guy that gets out of bed could be making more money because he just, I put a limits in. I can see, yeah, I missed it, but I'll buy in pullbacks. I'll buy in micro pullbacks. I mean, this idea that you're going to wait for a 30 pip swing to get into something. I mean, like, for God's sakes, man. But of course, the problem here is it's just like telling a comedian, hey, I heard you're funny. Make me laugh. Tell me a joke. Well, okay. You should be able to, I guess, right? Okay, so now, should I get out? I'm going to take this guy off now. And I'm going to go flat. I just have one loser now. Now I'm going to actually come back in. And I already got 4 tickets pending. And I don't say K because I'm saying I've got guaranteed about $25 risk there. 20 on paper. And I'm going to put slippage into that. So I'm adding the slippage into that. Another thing is the tick chart. If I turn off, I got too many symbols running here to get a good tick chart going. Look at gold at 1,200. Interesting. Let's go take a look at Bitcoin. Just curious. Okay, so I got out of those and I made money. So does that make me a better trader than another trader? Well, it makes me trade like I would trade. It makes me a better trader for me, only because I got to have a sense that we could still pull back. Now, if I feel like, God damn it, I wish I was still in this fucking trade, what I'll do is just this. You can't get more like, I wish I was still in this fucking trade than just putting your order right here. And hopefully I got the ass turned on so you can see if I'm going to get filled. And the S line is white and the bid is the line. So I have two white lines here. I don't see it though. Let's see the ask line. Anyways, so I'm about to get filled possibly. So I'm underwater on this one. And I don't see a price change. Here we go. Okay, so it's fluctuating. Tick chart's not going to be too great, I guess. No, it's not too good. It's turn off all the other symbols to get this a fat tick chart going. But here we see the spread goes to 0. That's why I can't see it. But you pay commissions here. So that this guy Ryan Brown was complaining that they're charging commissions at Evolve Markets. What an idiot! What a fucking idiot! I mean, dude. I mean, how naive. I mean, really? You really think that it's like you ordered FedEx and they said it was second day air, dude? Really? Like this is the market. Look at the spread here. It's tight as it gets. I don't even know how he was. I don't even get it. Like I don't get. He's complaining that they increased the spread on him, dude. I had a broker once called Master Forex. They still exist over in Russia, and I had about $500 in this account. And here comes the holidays. It's coming into Thanksgiving to Christmas, and these guys took it upon themselves to make the spread 50 pips, and they sent out a message saying, during the holiday season, when there's a lack of liquidity, we reserve the right to basically make the spread 50 pips. And what they're saying is that we're kind of making it like, dude, if you want to trade, you can trade, but you're gonna pay. So, I'm sure a newbie opening an account, just imagine the timing of a newbie, that's being a kind of a person that's never traded. They go, okay, I'm going to open an account right now. I just happened to open an account right when the spreads were 50. I just thought that was how life was. And they're like, damn, I got to be a good trader, it looks like, because I got to make up this 50 pip spread. I better swing trade this. I don't think I can scalp this. And this is the thing about scalping that I don't think people realize, that you better be on this kind of platform here, right? Because I can get out. Watch. Look at, not a losing trade today. Give me some of that. Right? Look at it. There you go. Now, I still got all these tickets though, and I got sell limits above me. Like exposure above, exposure below. It's not over. And am I going to kick myself? I should have stayed in there. No. I could be like this forex hangout guy and just go out and get something to eat. So, anyways, that's just, there you go. And hopefully we get filled on these sell limits up here. Now, yeah, heavens to Murgatroyd. So look at the 1 hour chart. Now, certainly max zoom in is what I prefer. We can see the big picture here in the 1 hour. You go to the 5 minute chart. I prefer this view. The Forex Hangout guy is like this. I'm like, dude, if I could zoom in more, I would. And I'm running a 720 on my monitor just so I can get more dramatic. I'm going low res when I trade. Like high res, I get it. I was watching 4K on this phone, and I'm like, okay, I got it. But it looks like butter, you know. It looks like high res. It's butter, but it doesn't mean no good to make money. I prefer to have a nice big fat candle. You know, skinny girls, fat candles. because I want to have it so blatant. And also when I go like this, I want that to be like a real rooftop block. Here, you just can't see the forest for the trees. Here, you do look like you're going to get filled on these limits pretty soon. In other words, psychologically, first glance, I'm like, okay, we got in here, we dumped here, and I can see this and this very possible now. This very possible now. Whereas if I zoom in, psychologically, if I go like this totally screws that strategy and entry tactic apart. If I go to here, I'm like, oh no, dude, we are going up. I mean, just buy everything you fucking can here. It's a completely different world where the other one's like here I feel like, no, we better chase this here. And of course, if I go crazy like to here, you're like for God's sakes, man, what the fuck? Where are we? Like, I'm amazed that MetaTrader lets you zoom out. Let's max zoom out. Wait, fuck, no, it's not. I got to write a message to these people that wrote this program. They keep rewriting it, and I get the fact it only cost me $30 or whatever, but for God's sakes, people. So I'm surprised MetaTrader lets you zoom out this far. Now, if you consider this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels of zoom, and that's plenty of stuff to chew on. And I can delete all objects, I think, here. If I still got my hotkey turned on. There you go. So delete all objects. And it refreshed with the these, and you could say, look at how this +5 is, man, that's a pivot. Where'd you get that indicator? It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we have our buy limits pending. So we just got filled, I think. Yep, we just got filled on a buy limit here. So lo and behold, we are getting filled there. Now, zooming into that is just a real mind bender, and it's just a completely different world. I won't even, 1 minute chart is like, wow. Now you kind of have to zoom out a little bit on that, kind of here. I mean, this is the only livable space. 1 minute chart, and I'm surprised that that guy is not trading the 1 minute chart. If you're going to sit there and talk to somebody about structure, you could certainly learn faster. Now, this is definitely the drawback, is going to be the spread, but the spread's tight. You can make money at this evolved markets with your Bitcoins because you can see the 1 minute chart is tradable. You do have to take a hit of, and this is what I thought about, is maybe I should have an account that's hedged. So it dawned on me that that's what hedge funds doing, is protecting you. So if you put Bitcoin into, if you buy Bitcoins, do you short your wallet to keep yourself in a hedge? In other words, do you treat your money like a farmer and go against your trade to keep yourself from being exposed to volatility fluctuations? Like, you don't want to pick this direction on Bitcoin, but you're needing Bitcoin now to trade because the government has, Bitcoin is really the ultimate litmus test for the crowd, for freedom, digital freedom, let's say freedom, and this highly liquid situation now. What is the future for Bitcoin? To me, it's just beyond fascinating that this thing popped up. And I remember when it first started trading, and I only saw it because it was the year, let's see, what year is it now? So it was like 2000 and yeah, it was right about 5 years ago, I think. And so I was like, oh, Bitcoin. And I didn't think about it as investing. I just thought, was it just a transfer instrument? And then, or this peer-to-peer it was called, I guess. And then when the price went up, I thought, for God's sakes, people aren't really investing in this thing, are they? How ridiculous. I just thought it was like saying, you had a Visa card or something. And there was this thing called gold. Oh, gosh. I was deeply into all these kind of wallets, It was out of London called Digital Gold or something like that. All this stuff. And there was because when gold was took off and people had digital versions of gold, But it's funny because the Bitcoin just kind of caught on, I suppose, like Windows thing, but it is hysterical to think that people are investing. Okay, so here we're going back up, and we would have got filled here, and we did get filled here, but I didn't realize how tight this, so I'm going to put some more tickets in here. Because if the spread was wider, then you wouldn't bother to put an order in this tight, because it costs you so much. The problem with a spread that is bigger than 2 pips on an instrument and you're trading really big is it's just not worth it. I don't know why this guy's not trading. Like I said, this Evolve thing so far, pretty good. I mean, the fact that Ryan Brown is such a goof that he couldn't figure out that the markets aren't at zero spread all day long, but it is. It's in the commissions. How much they charging me here? He's like, God, they were charging me so much in commissions. Like, dude, the fact that I don't got to look at that number. Look, they're charging me this commission here. Fine. As long as I don't got to see it. See, look, I just took money off the table. So, and he was also using a robot, which is ridiculous. I mean, I get it. Okay, robots can make money, but you can make way more money with your brain, hopefully, than robots. So, I get the fact that a robot is, it's a labor-saving device, but like I can get in and out of this market over and over again, in, out, in, out, in, out, and I got these buy limits pending here beautifully. I'm right at the bid actually, so I don't have to worry about the. And I guess you could back test your robot here because you'd say, well, it's going to cost me extra commissions. Because look at how tight. But in Asia, this spread probably gets pretty nasty. This is tight because we're about to open the U.S. market. This is a big display of crowd psychology here. And we have all this pent-up pressure in this area here. Right? We've got the classic uncharted water that's been piling up here. And we have another uncharted window here. Right off this rooftop carried forward. So what's going to happen? Are people buying into that? I dumped everything on this run because I'm like, look at that thing. Nice, clean 20-minute run. Boom, 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 boom. And I got out because I'm going to get in this tight. Like, I don't have the script here, but I could write a script that gets at every 10th of a pip. I could put a 10K in a 1 pip zone here. And each ticket could have its own exit. It'd be hard coded though. It wouldn't be a hand drop. Hard coded. And I've got those scripts. I don't know if they're in this one. And with the Bitcoin thing, now if I traded Bitcoin, you'd have to move your decimal point 2 things over here. Okay, so we just got filled on a limit, I think. Let's go 1 minute chart. Okay, so it's going down. It's in a downtrend. Supposedly on the 1 minute, it's backing down, and it looks like it can fill me now. So let that go. Here comes the top of the hour. So, boom, there you go. It's the top of the hour. Half hour till stocks open. Did I buy enough here? Should I wait to get filled on something if it drops just a little bit? Well, these are all scalps. This is $5 to make $5. So I can tell by the size. Because I basically I'm starting with a 10 pip stop on a 5K, and then I'm going to go to a 4K with a 25 pip stop. So right there, sorry, no, is that right? Right at that threshold switch point. Yeah, here it is. Here's the actual trades. So when you decide to have a hard money stop like that, when I go to the wider risk and I take my size down one notch, so now I'm going to run a 12 pip stop. So I have more breathing room here, but the same dollar risk. So right there is a big fork in the road, takes off, and here's the 25 pip stop, and that's only a 2K. So I'm able to, and look at this beautiful plunge here. Look at that fill. I went within 10 pips of getting stopped out of that. So here's the best trade is I didn't have to make that I made that decision in advance. And I have like all these, or now I can put in I can risk more pips now. Now the dollar amount has not changed, and now I'm going to risk 50 pips on this. And I'm going to risk $5, but the same dollar amount. So another $20 of risk. And now that platform is not giving me that number because it's in Bitcoins, but I guess you got to do the math outside your head on that one. But now these are all going to be 50 pip stops. And I'm saying is I'm giving this all day to drop this far. So go max zoom in. Oh, shit. I don't have enough vertical dimension there to really. I have to go to the daily. Okay, so now I can delete all objects. And now I'm going to think, oh, dude, look at this. And these are where I'm really going to load the wagon is on these super deep tickets. Now I got to fix the scale. So I can't even see these tickets now. So there's the daily. Now you can make the argument that, oh, dude, you should have sold up here. New highs. You should have sold right up here. You could have been short from here. As soon as it closed up hard that day, you sold, and you did not sell the next day, even though you would have made money if you sold the next day. But you're holding that. And now you're saying, oh, man, but you know what? Gosh, in 2 days I made that many pips, and that's a lot, right? And look at, you could have sold, this is your entry right here. And look at the volatility is very small. The sell bot gets filled. The buy bot never gets filled. Another big trick, MT4, is go to properties and fix the scale. As soon as you do that, now you can see depth of market. Let's see, this maximum depth is here. And you can switch time frames now. You never want to lose perspective of how deep the market really is. So depth of market means just fixing the scale here. Now look at, you're coming into the 4 hour, and now I'm going to load the wagon right here. And I'm probably risking $100 now. So I deleted a bunch of objects there, but now I'm going to put buy stops in. Go right to the 5-minute chart. So I can jump from the 5-minute to the 4 hour without losing perspective. So the 1 hour, 5-minute. And it looks like we're really going to just keep blowing out here. So where could you have sold it? No fill here. I guess you'd have to sell here about 2 hours ago. And are you cashing out now into this plunge? And, like now what, right? Look at the daily. And, of course, if you are going to wait until next week to buy this thing, you're so far from them filling you. If you really want to get a deep discount, and I think we're going to go test this. So I'm going to go put just a fucking pile with a 50 pip stop, and I don't even know where that's in on this grid. here. This is 100 pips from here to here. So my stop is pretty healthy there. And this is the 100-yard line, this big black line. And so we've bounced off of that, and then that became resistance. And so it is possible that we could come down here next week. And maybe that's the trade you do next week, and you make a bunch of fucking money because it bounces 50 pips. And it's a no-brainer trade, right, from a swing standpoint. Now, from a scalping standpoint on the 1-minute chart, at this time of day, it's like, holy shit. It is rambunctious. I mean, the stocks are going to open. And this is a raid into this zone here. And it does look like, wow, they could just keep blowing that out. But somebody's making money right now into the floor of that wick, right? And it could be me. So I could take my profits off these top tickets. Like, say this is a real money account. What I'm probably going to do is say, you know, as soon as we hit this number here, the floor, time-wise, got triple bottom on the 15. As soon as it gets here, I'm cashing out. I'm taking some of these guys off, and I'll let the rest go. Because I'm underwater on this top ticket here. And with the scale fixed, I can flip to the 1 minute and go, oh, yeah. So this is the hard manual part of trading, I suppose, to say, all right, I placed this trap. Now let me take some of these guys off, and I'll just have my finger on the trigger here. And this is like manual trading to me, because I think that if I predefine that exit, which none of these scripts, these are all greedy targets. If they were scalps in here, like risk 5 to make 8, risk 8 to make 5s, and I had a cluster down there, and they were big tickets, and they were still worth $5, but now they're going to be 8Ks. Or they'll be 10K, right? Well, kind of with the 5-pip stop. And I didn't write those scripts, and you could write those scripts, and you could do those trades, and you could hand place those, and you could be in this kind of semi-automated mode. And so it's frisky here, and I'm about to cash out as soon as we go up, right, boom. So now I'll peel these off. As we come back into that blue line, I'm like, I'm in so many fucking tickets. And I don't want to have a losing day. And I mean, I don't want that pressure, but I realize I realize after hours and hours of the euro and the dollar yen, which are very liquid, you can see this kind of, okay, got to get out. Coming up to my target. I'm scaling out into it manually. And every time I hit this button, it's money in the bank. So this guy's talking about realized profit. Okay, realizing that profit. And it's about to almost take profits on the predefined 10 pip. That's the 10 pip winners. Those are the 5s to make 5s. And maybe I let it go. Now I've reached my risk percentage of account is fluctuating at 0.001 increments. To me, that's the way to live. I mean, now you have like a business operation. You're not making all your money from one customer. You're making a little here, a little there. You got some guy that orders, a fucking giant dildo, and a guy that orders a baby dildo. Different prices, right? You own a porn store. That's so funny. I go to Starbucks in the morning, and next door is this naughty store. And they have, I'm going to get out of something right here. Oh, shit, I missed my exit talking. And they call it the blush items. And I thought, well, at some point, you're not blushing anymore, right? You're just like, this is my life. I mean, I don't know. I guess, when does that novelty wear off? And like I said, I hate to go back to this Bruce Jenner thing, but it's just kind of, I miss my exits. I hate to go back to that, but it seriously is a problem. Like, you're like, okay, it was fun, but now what? And I think trading is like that. Okay, I'm ready to get out of here. Now I'm kind of like, fuck them. Now I shouldn't get out. You know why? Because in my mind's eye, on the 1 minute chart, I see that that's probably going to be breached. So I'm going to let this go till stocks open. And hits this magical line here. It all seems so magical. As soon as it gets above that blue, though, and it does get to that white line, if I'm a disciplined trader, would get out of something there and say, okay, I'm getting out of something there. But yeah, this is the only excitement, I guess, is when the news comes out. Now that is exciting trading when they say don't trade the news, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the best fun ever. The bestest time you'll ever have in your life is trading the news. That's excitement, and especially if you can walk away from the table, though. This is the gambler's dilemma. But you have to be a gambler to trade, so I don't know. It's a mixed bag, and then of course gambling's like porn, and you know it's all commingled, and there's issues, and people have, you know, it's a subtle world. I mean, you can really offend somebody very uneasily, or unoffend them. And that was, I don't know, I was at Starbucks this morning. The manager that manages the place, he's just a goof, you know, and. I think, God, what a difficult rig, because I could hear him telling the guys this morning, you know, when it's busy, do this and that. I'm like, God, he's trying to orchestrate all these, you know. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, unless you have like this, like I said, a coffee shop that's down in near the big city has like a Hooters girl serving you coffee. So they got you're seeing breasts in the morning and you're getting caffeine. I mean, it's a nice pick me up. And it's a drive-through only, I think. But I mean, it's just really bizarre, you know. But I mean, this is the city. And we need to be stimulated on a constant basis. But hey, you know what? I mean, people have these, like I saw this guy in the store yesterday with the phone. He's selling these phones, and I thought he was more giddy about this phone than a customer could even be. And he said he had a YouTube channel, and his son has a YouTube channel where he does ninja stuff, and he only had 2 subscribers. But I wanted to tell his son, well, are you going to do, maybe I'll tell him next time I'm in there, hey, tell your kid to do the old pen light with the time-lapse photography. That's always a crowd pleaser. But, you know, it's so cute. And I thought to myself, I hope he's making money trading on that phone to pay for it, because I can't even justify. So I'm trying to get maybe this Python to run some kind of script maybe inside of, I guess that's the only way you can trade on Android. So I'm a little bit entertaining that one-click basis there, at least from just give me a one-click order. I guess I could manage. In other words, it's to have all that complexity. In other words, say you've got a $1,000 foot pedal that has every modeling algorithm in there, and there's something to be said for a guitar amp that just has one knob. So if you could play guitar, it wouldn't matter, and it really wouldn't matter in a way. You just have to realize that you're trading with a 20 pip stop to make 40 pips all day long with this one trigger pull, and you have to live with that. Look how they're crushing me now. So I'm going to ride the storm out here until news comes out. In fact, I'm going to buy more. No, you know, I already got limits sitting down there. I'll just let it go. But see how I missed my exit there? And we've never come back there. The whole time I've been talking, I realized the 1 minute chart. I don't have to go to look at the 1 minute chart. I can see that was the climax right there. I don't have to look at the 1 minute chart. So I actually I can stare at a 15-minute chart and be in my mind's eye know what the 1 minute chart's doing. And I think we all know that, like, dude, we should have got off. And they're going to get out here. But who's going to sit for the next 15 minutes? Well, I am. If I made enough money on that scalp, I will ride the rest of this out. So when you're moving your stops to break even and watch the paint dry, you can take some of the paint dry out of this thing by just hitting it, you know, hit it and quit it. Now, this is very disturbing to the moral, ethical person, because who in the fuck is going to rape the hot FedEx girl in 5 minutes and you're in a married relationship? But you could trading. You could scalp the market in the morning and swing trade it like a conservative. Okay, so we just breached the 5 minute bar. So the idea that I held that, when I missed my exit, I go, okay, when we come back there, I'm not going to get out then and go, oh, I should have got out there, so I'm going to get out now. No, I realize what's going on, and it's Friday. The stock's going to open in 15 minutes, and I need to stay through this trade. This engulf. This auction has happened. And now the sellers they'll start taking profits now. This is all going to happen, and by about 11 o'clock, if this thing's screaming north or plunging or whatever, and you're out and the market starts to go into the doldrums and drift, you could go outside and just get another hooker. It doesn't, you're done. Or are you going to stick around and trade the demo to improve your execution skills? Or are you going to just trade lighter now? You just traded really big, now you just trade 1Ks just to feel like you're doing something productive, because trading is not the most productive sport. If you were to go retile your bathroom, you'd feel a sense of accomplishment and a connection to a 3D object, where trading is literally, unless you consider your mouse a 3D involvement, it's a 2D world that's really just so, I mean, you're looking into a screen and making money. To me, that was kind of a dream, but it's kind of a nightmare in a way, because you wouldn't do that in the normal world. And once again, we could have got out there. So now I could actually say, you know what? I'm going to give this thing, and this all discretionary, I'll give it 3 more minutes and I'll just get out of something. And what'll happen is, if it does drift up, you'd be like, okay, well, but you're incrementally making mistakes now. So with this many tickets, you have this kind of basket thing. You don't have to be so committed to, you'd be like, oh, okay. And let it ride. This is how people make money in the craps table, is you let it ride. And that's how you make, and I guess craps is just, I mean, to hear Norm Macdonald talk about his gambling escapades is just amazing. The guy's the most honest. I mean, the guy just tells you straight out, no, dude, this one, I did that. He did that too. And him and this other guy from Howard Stern's show went out gambling, and it's crazy, you know, they just enabled each other to the nth degree. But, you know, it's not such a bad thing if you're learning something along the way about Mother Nature, or just the way things, in other words, the shock of, well, okay, so the weather is really calm, you know, but then it can get stormy. But it's not stormy all the time. Most of the weather's boring. Most of the trading, most of the market is preparing to make a big move, but the preparation is 80%. So there's not a lot of excitement. Here we're going to find out, though, by the next, so the market's only open for another 7 hours. You know, of course, and now if you've lost money this week, and then Friday comes, you'd be like, damn it, God damn it, it's another losing week. It could be another losing week for you, or it could be another winning week. But if it's another winning week, the problem there is, I didn't win enough this week. I would say it never, you're always going to try to get better at anything you do. So why wouldn't you think that you're a loser all the time? Either didn't make enough or you lost money. Now I know that's not really that's great way to think about it, but the truth of it is, that's the truth of it. Like Jordan Peterson would say, life is suffering. So life, I mean, the Buddhists just said, hey, dude, life sucks. Now what? Yeah, trading sucks because if you're taking profits early, you're aren't you just as bad as letting your losses run? I mean, these are both not in your best financial interest, but psychologically it's comforting. So are you trying to be comfortable, or are you trying to make money? And the most uncomfortable thing is to make money, because it is so hard if you're impatient to sit through. But I guess I'm waiting 10 more minutes here. So I perceive that we're going to blow out the top of this. Even if we don't, every 5 minutes I could peel a ticket off. If we smash up, I'll smash up really hard right now, I will just be out automatically on the ones that I've already predefined, the ones that are flashing. And, okay, now I could get out of something right now and say, okay, I told myself I'd get out of something every 5 minutes. I know I'm missing out on. Now I'm kind of cutting into my profits, aren't I? But it's so incremental. That this all or nothing thinking is really the worst thing about people. But I understand that you have to be all, if you're really going to slay the dragon, you are just going to, there's only one dragon and there's you, and you're going to ride that one trade out and be like, dude, I stuck it out and let my profits run and look at me. And that you could, so if you could perceive maybe the big picture, you'd say, okay, yeah, look at, they ran out of sellers. Look, they ran out of buyers. Time to go the other way. When is it going to reverse? When is the trend over? Yeah, surely there's a trend, but I say it would depend on how tight your stop is for you to make money from that trend. Look at this pullback here. So a lot of people are like, no, they got out. And here comes the sell bots. They just got filled. And the volatility just went higher than this last bar. So have they trapped the bear bots? Look at them. They're making money now. Now we could plunge right down. And who's making money now? Is the non-directional traders, possibly. We know that the guy that sold new highs here is up right now. And the guy that cashed out, and he saw that, you know what, the party's over. He has made all that money. He went flat. And the guy that sold here is currently up on the trade. And the robot's getting filled. Just the stop bot is getting filled here. Now, can we crush down into here? Oh, yeah. As soon as stock's open, we could just go plummeting right into here. So me peeling off these tickets looks like the prudent thing to do. And so I done did that. And now, like I said, if I'm waiting for stocks to open here, I am going to ride the storm out here and just say, no, you know what? Now I could actually, as soon as it comes back to here, I have another window of getting out, and maybe that's a 2.5 minute chart. If this is the 5 minute chart, is there a 2.5 minute chart? Well, there should be. There should be a what is it? 1 point, whatever, 2.5, 1.25 chart. So on and on. But, you know, hey, so I can get out right now. And I could have got out where I got before. Oh, they trapped these guys here. Right? Is it just a stop hunt for the bull that has a trailing stop? Well, I guess so. For his view of it, it is. Now we have to breach this and this and this. And I would be cashing out into that by the time stock's open. I should be cashing out something right now, and I'm compelled to get my finger ready to get out here. As soon as we hit that yellow line, I'm going to get out. Okay, so there. Now let the rest go. But I'm getting out so incrementally. I think I just got out, right? Hourglass is freaking me out. Okay, so now, as soon as stocks open, I probably get out of this next 5 minute. This will be the terror here. As soon as it hits this yellow line, I'm just going to get out of, I suppose, 70% of the tickets here. I guess as fast as I can get out of them. All right, so we're waiting. And people are selling right there. See, right there, people are getting filled. So I'm going to get out there along the way. I'm just going to get out of everything right now. Oops, shit, fuck. No, that's no good. Well, gosh, I put a new video card in, and thing still remembers the old video card, the old monitor that used to be there. Okay, so I'm going to get out as this goes up. I'm selling into the rally. Okay, there you go. 5 minutes before the, see that a little gap there. I should have an open. What's cool is if you put this is a 1 period moving average of close, but if you do a 1 period moving average of open, that's an interesting looking chart. As people would say, this is an interesting area up here to sell. Okay. I'll let this go till stocks open. So I took a lot of risk off the table there. I'm down to just a few tickets. I could have bought more here on a limit on that fake breakdown. Go to the bigger perspective. We're still looking to breach this 110 level, 110.85.5. And these are just linear, stupid ass support and resistance. I don't know how often it updates. It just doesn't matter. The question is, do you peel these things off? So let me get ready to get out. So I'm going to go flat here. Stocks are coming out. So in a real money world, this is what I would do. I'm out, get back in. Come in with limits. I can't imagine they're not going to pull that back. And look at no fill yet because the spread is so fucking tight. Now I come in like this. Hey, give me 20. Give me some nice big fat. Set it and forget it's here. Sellers came in here right at the tippy top. And if I was going to sell that tippy top, I would have had to put that order there, and I missed the entry, and I'd have to be cashing out right now. That was the exit. We've selling new highs, and that's our one man's exit, another man's entry. Nobody should disagree in trading. I think time frame is the one thing that does upset people. Now we just got filled on our shallow limit here. I got the worst color combination. You can't even see the fucking ticket, but I can see that I got filled here. So I'm slightly in. Waiting for stocks to open and smash this down a little bit. I also have my sell limits pending above from earlier, I think. So I had a little exposure there on the top side. Okay, so you could say that this, look at this beautiful raid down here. If you'd placed your orders and nested them down here. Beautiful, right? You scalped this bounce and you really loaded here. And on the half hour, you're not freaked out. You're waiting a half hour. Granted, you have to wait a half hour. But you're not going to get inside these micro. The 15-minute chart is going to be a better, lower risk, more work. So another thing is all those tickets, more work, it's less risk. And that's how that is. Sell-wise, okay. Let's start selling up here then all day long. And here I'm going to have to, unfortunately, put them way up here because if I leave here and I go away for the day and I come back and I'm like, I could end up underwater in trades that might make money next week, but you know, this structure here on the daily is a completely different trade plan. This would take you a couple months to make money, but you could make some tremendous amount of money here if you're a patient person. And it involved you identifying this low and then loading the fucking wagon all the way to here with limits and letting that fill. With this spread so tight, you could actually have nested scalps in here. So that would definitely work out. And when it comes to here, here's where you, okay, so you're really buying here, but where you're really going to load the wagon is going to be right here. This wick and this wick never filled here. But that was tremendous because it came all the way back and sliced into that zone. But yeah, that's dollar yen treading water at here, and I guess we're never going to hit Kelvin's target. Now this is the dollar yen. I think I did a video about this. The final destination on this thing. Okay, so stocks have opened. Boom, we're in. Stocks are open. And we're getting filled on our limits. So dumping out of that was a great idea. Now here comes the fills. But this is the big trend line I had drawn on here, and we're still trapped. We have not gotten out of that thing. Right, we're still just dicking around. Let's see. Look at the big picture on the monthly. Do you see a trade in there? I mean, are you kidding me? You're kidding me. So, and if you go to the 1 minute chart, you're like, well, wait a minute. I love that monthly chart. It's so beautiful. It looks just like a perfect, easy trade. But it's not easy now, is it? It's so like quiet. The daily looks more bombastic. So I'm up in this trade. I bought that pullback. I do think it's going up. I could have held the whole thing, but I decided to put in micro pullbacks there. Now it looks like we're going to blow out the top. This is the 5 minute window. Stocks have been open for 2 minutes. And let's take a look at stocks here. Wow, stocks, what are they doing? Wait for the data to refresh. Oh, they're off to the races too. So here's the same pattern here. Same trade, different day. This, look how the indicator just so perfect at identifying this sell point. It's hysterical, dude. Completely random lines on that. Stocks are off to the races. They trap people down here. It's just like dollar yen. You can make the argument that, oh, stocks just look like, all markets look the same. They all do the same dumb shit. Or you could make the trendline argument. And it's just, all trend lines are doing is cordoning off volatility. That's not a good color, is it? The hell you thinking, son? Yeah, see the perfect break. It's off. So we're making money. I'm making money on my dollar yen. Coffee. I have not looked at this stuff at copper. Look at copper pull back. Look at the monthly copper. Wow. What a buy. But look at monthly copper. Same story. Look at this tippy top. Oof. And then bye-bye. Copper's getting punished. Commodities, I think oil's going to go to $50 a barrel. I swear to God, I don't know why. I think that and this was that fill on oil up here. Now that we can just cruise around the markets here. We've made our money today. We're barely in this thing. So we got the, it is technically, this is, your classic thing. Top becomes a bottom. Buyers come in, and it just keeps churning up, which kind of makes sense, I guess. I don't know. But to me, it could also be a trap here, and we're just going to, don't forget there's a vacuum. The bearish argument is don't forget about this shit. We're coming all the way back to $45 a barrel. So you can make the argument, fundamentally, look at this top bottom here just before it breaches and takes off. So I said this was going up. Yeah, I said that. Okay, so you'd break this. And just classic kind of support and resistance analysis. Pivot, psychological pivots. You break, you pull back to this, and you're off to the races. But these are very rare setups. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? So you make the argument here. Another top bottom, another top bottom. We're walking up this stairway, and this would be the. But every time these trend lines are just a view of, the market going somewhere at a rate of change that the trend line's giving you, and the trend line on closing prices is a real trend line. So it can make the argument that okay. Here's your channel. You break out. You just keep plunging through. That channel is arbitrary, but it's a static, hard line. It's not a moving average. And this is going to keep drifting up. And the bearish argument is that it's just not going to keep going up because it's going up too fast now. Look at this rate of change. We just broke the trend line. Are we going to find resistance there? Is it the pivot? It doesn't matter, because if you're the guy that bought that plunge there and you scalp, this is the weekly right there. And on the weekly, the argument is, oh no, this is the shoulder, that's the head, we're going to decay. It would just really matter how big you're in the trade financially for you. Dollar CAD just treading water. Another. This does look like the dollar's going to crush the CAD here. It honestly does. I mean, from the standpoint of the weekly, like I said, you could have made $1 million right here just in this trade alone, buying these new lows and scalping out and be out of that trade. Or you're holding and you're looking for this to, which you've already broke this trend line, but it doesn't really mean anything. I say if your sizing isn't appropriate, none of this means anything. But you can make this argument for a volatility breakout, perfect trend line. These are your holy grail setups. I can't say that this is happening because everybody's trading this trend line. It just so happens that the momentum burst out, because I could make the same trend line here and say, okay, what about this? Okay, that's a violent breakout. Doesn't pull back to the trend line, but it breaks that trend. All it's doing is you're cordoning off the volatility. I almost think it's more like an angular line means at some point the volatility is either expanding or decreasing over time. So I feel like the angry photographer now, this guy that just speaks in like physics, because that's all that really matters. The pace of this dollar CAD on the weekly, it's just incredibly without regard to anything. So the fact that this is just kind of treading water like this, and you could cordon off this area and go, look at this thing just drifting, even though there's some amazing plunges in here and all of this stuff. And if you didn't have a stop and you're trading at them every week, so every week it's up, you're selling, and every week it's down, you're buying. You're a true contrarian, or you're I imagine the only way to trend trade this is to just put in static breakouts and just go with the flow. I wouldn't even say trend, just go with the flow, because these are momentary trends in a way. Like I said, is this a trend to you? That's one hell of a fucking trend, but that's nothing more than a move inside of another fractal, a larger move. So and this is fast money compared to this. Almost the same amount of pips in a way. Like if you just sold the breach of here, so a fast down, slow up, or fast down, fast up is even possible. And that's I think the big problem with the trading is people want to say the past equals the future, and that's okay. But look how fast down and pretty fast up. Fast down, pretty fast up. I mean, it did take a little time to get here, drift up. Here it's brutal up, and I think here it's brutal up because of the fact that there was all that pressure or lack of pressure, the vacuum, the opposing pressure, and you got the it's a Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is able to survive this $6,000 level here, but it is looking fragile. I think the end of the year is going to be a big deal for this Bitcoin because of the tax implications and everything. You spook people and they run. Like, I guess this is the thing in New York City. The taxes are so high, people are just leaving. They're like, dude, bye-bye. And the wave won't hit them they won't actually realize it for a while. But like I said, it's like Atlas Shrugged. I mean, basically when these people go on strike, when the men of the mind walk away from the party, then you'll see it. And it's a creeper gear, but there is that aha moment, or that point of exclamation mark that comes at the end, the punctuation. that comes in, and you do get this hoop. There it is. And people are like, holy shit. Okay, so I'm finally got this account up to like $50 million or whatever, 50 million Bitcoin. So what I could do is now is if I'm really afraid of having a losing day because I don't want to have my trophy wife divorce me. Oh, honey, I made money today again. You did real good, son. Now you can go outside and that'd be funny. I do think, though, if I had kids, I would definitely... you didn't put your trades on. No food for you. I would definitely have my kids on some chore. Dad's making me trade forex again. Well, I used to have to cut the lawn. So shut the fuck up and get to that goddamn terminal. Let's see if I can take home the profits key here. Here, per symbol. So this is take all profits per symbol. Let me see if I can find the currency I'm trading, though. Because now I've got to put that on the chart. I lost my dollar yen. All right, here's how I was making all my money. So I can let that go. I do think it's going to make a move into this half-hour structure. At least where people bought here and they're underwater. When they get to here, they'll be at break-even. They'll get out. Or I can just say, you know what? I ain't got time for this. 911 operator. I ain't got time for this. And I just get out of everything. In fact, I should have got out right here. Right on this kind of rally. I don't know. There's maybe one more piece of news coming out. Crude oil or some bullshit like that. Okay, so... yeah, so I'm just going to dump out of this thing. I really don't care what happens to it. Boom. I'm out. So that was pretty good. I do like evolved markets. I think Ryan Brown is just ridiculous. I mean, he's complaining about the spread here. Dude, you poor thing. Yeah, go fuck your hot wife. This guy has no business trading. Okay, he has no business trading. Yeah, he should just back test. His whole life should be back testing. I'm going to go back test his wife. Test on her back. Anyways, yeah. So good luck with that. I'll go back to my incredibly boring life.